Imagine a dark room filled with shelves of unsolved cases that may not have been looked at in years. Now imagine taking those cases off the shelf and bringing them into the light. The goal of this channel is to shed some new light on those dark cold cases on a state-by-state basis. Thus, welcome to Dark Cold State. Today's true crime cold cases are from the state of Mississippi. Our first cold case is the murder of Kenneth Charlo. On the evening of January 31st, 2018, 60-year-old Kenneth Charlo was in his home as usual. He was a simple man with a set routine who loved his family and was one of 7 siblings. At approximately 10 p.m., his cousin across the street heard some noises and talking, but was not concerned. The next day, his family tried to reach him multiple times, but he did not answer their calls. It was unusual for Kenneth not to answer calls from his family, so his family members went to check on him. They found the house locked, water dripping under the house, and notified authorities. After the home was entered, they found blood in the kitchen and also leading out of the home. They also discovered that the bed sheets were missing, but they did not locate Kenneth nor his vehicle. Later that day, Kenneth's vehicle was found on fire near 43rd Avenue in Gulfport, but Kenneth was not in the vehicle nor found in the area. His family was worried, but they still had hope that Kenneth would be found alive. Sadly, Kenneth's body was found on February 2nd, 2018, in a wooded area off 29th Avenue. He had been shot in the head, and there was evidence that he had been dragged across the road and placed in the woods near the road. His body had not been hidden and was easily discovered by a person walking by. Both his family and police believed that Kenneth had been shot in his home and his body had been moved to the woods, and are hoping that someone near his home or where his body was found witnessed something. If you have any information regarding the murder of Kenneth Charlo, please contact the Pass Christian Police Department at 228-452-3300 or Mississippi Coast Crime Stoppers at 877-787-5898. All callers to Crime Stoppers can remain anonymous. Our next cold case is the case of Kimberly Holcomb Watts. It was the morning of November 11th, 2014, and Kimberly's co-workers at Gulfport Memorial Hospital became concerned when she did not come into work. Kimberly was a nurse who worked with her sister at the hospital. Her sister was notified and her brother-in-law was sent to check on Kimberly. Soon after, Kimberly's body was found by that family member. It is believed that Kimberly had been murdered in her Long Beach, Mississippi home the previous evening. Kimberly was found in her bedroom, and upon entry, it was obvious to law enforcement that she was the victim of a violent homicide. If you have any information regarding the murder of Kimberly Holcomb Watts, please contact Harrison County Sheriff's Office at 228-865-7060. Our last true crime cold case for this week is Willie Flint Lee. Willie was a 44-year-old husband, father, chicken farmer, and a volunteer firefighter who went missing in August of 2009. On August 4th, 2009, a motorist driving along Highway 13, a few miles outside of Mendenhall, reports a truck on fire. The local volunteer fire department responds and quickly puts out the flames. The truck was later examined, and it was determined that the fire had been started by arson, and they also discovered several bullet holes in the truck. This truck belonged to Willie Flint Lee. The next day, Willie's body is found by his wife's brother-in-law, Charles Earl, floating in the Strong River. An autopsy found that Willie's cause of death was from a gunshot wound to his upper torso that killed him instantly. Charles Earl was originally considered a suspect, but was eventually cleared. The following day, investigators found a blood trail along the bridge and railing that they determined shows that Willie's body was tossed off the bridge into the water. Christopher Hubbard later made a confession about himself and two others, Roger Gilbert and an unnamed third man, that were involved in Willie's murder. The two men were indicted in Willie's murder. However, Christopher Hubbard later recants his confession, and prosecutors were forced to drop the charges against the two men due to lack of evidence. Christopher Hubbard and Roger Gilbert are still considered to be the prime suspects by investigators. If you have any information regarding the death of Willie Flint Lee, please call the Simpson County Sheriff's Department at 601-847-2921. There are also many unidentified remains found in each state. If you have not already done so, please consider getting DNA testing completed, where the DNA results are shared with law enforcement so that the possibility of identifying any unknown remains is increased. The goal of this channel is to provide attention to these cold cases. If you like the videos on this channel, please click the like button, share the video with others, comment below, and subscribe to the channel so that these videos are seen by as many people as possible. Appropriate update videos will be provided if needed. If you have a cold case or a missing person cold case that you would like to see featured on this channel, please suggest in the comments below or email me the information.